Hello everyone, I'm Danrvdtree2000, also known as Danrvdtree15 on Xbox Live, and I just finished watching Hell in a Cell, WWE Hell in a Cell 2022, and it was amazing. I would give the entire night probably 4.5 out of 5 stars, and maybe 1 thumbs up. What out of the 2 that I usually give, because there were matches that I loved, and it was only like maybe 1 or 2 I didn't particularly care about, but they were all clean victories, apart from one that, what can you do about it? And you know, I'm going to go through all of them and tell you what I've thought of every single match, and I'm going to tell you the winners and losers, and a quick brief for the quick brief, recap. But to start off with, we had Bianca Belair defending her Raw Women's Championship against Asuka and Becky Lynch. And it was a hell of a triple threat match. It was really good, actually. I enjoyed every moment of it. There was close finishes after close finishes, near falls after near falls, KOD attempts. We had Asuka nearly doing a double ankle lock at one point. And we had Asuka that had Becky Lynch in the Asuka lock. We had Becky Lynch hitting the manhandle slam. She even attempted a second one on Asuka, that one, he had a double hip attack from Asuka. The entire match was filled with great spots, but in the end, after the manhandle slam onto Asuka, Becky got the cover 1, 2, then here came Bianca, chucks Becky Lynch out the ring, 1, 2, 3, and still Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair. As I'm going to go on to the next match, and the next match was the Handicapped Match. Omos and MVP taking on Bobby Lashley. I was really looking towards this one, but then again, as I predicted, shenanigans happened right at the end where Cedric Alexander jumped onto, Omos, but Omos caught him, chokeslammed him, but then that was enough for him to get knocked outside of the ring, and MVP getting speared and then tapping out to the Hurt Lock. So therefore, the winner of the match by submission, Bobby Lashley. It was a good match, and there was some stereotypical, handicap match spots where MVP came in after Bobby Lashley was being beaten down by Omos. But overall, it was okay. It wasn't great, but I enjoyed it enough for a match that could have happened on Raw, to be honest. So, and speaking of another match that could have happened on Raw, we had a match number 3 was Kevin Owens versus Ezekiel. And it was an okay, decent matchup. Ezekiel put up a great fight against Kevin Owens and actually pulled up some really good moves and even did a real good mental build, really savage elbow at the beginning. And that was awesome. He gave him a big knee, tipped the elbow. I thought that was going to be 1, 2, 3, and that was it. But no, Kevin Owens kicked out at 2, and eventually Kevin Owens got pissed off so much that he got Ezekiel into the corner, hit the cannonball, and then picked him up and said, "Hey, you're Elias!" Boom! Kick, stunner, 1, 2, 3, surprise victory for Kevin Owens. Nothing else happened after that. No Elias showing up afterwards. Maybe someone dressed up as Elias attacking with none of that, attacking Kevin Owens with the guitar or anything afterwards. I thought that would have been great to see, but clean victory for Kevin Owens against Ezekiel. That was a pretty decent matchup. And you know what else was a pretty decent matchup? And I would say one of the best matchups of the night. Not the best. I'd say one of the best is that we had AJ Styles, Finn Balor, and Liv Morgan take on the Judgment Day. And again, unless you can correct me, for the first time that myself witnessing a 6-person mixed tag team matchup. I didn't know what to expect, but realistically it was the stereotypical mixed tag team matchup rules of women versus women, men versus men, and whenever a man made a tag, the woman that they made the tag team to, for example, if Edge was to tag Rhea, then Rhea was allowed to get in, and Liv Morgan would have to come in. If Rhea was to tag in Damian, Damian Priest, then he would be the legal man, and one of the other men would have to come in. Very good high spots, and especially to the end. I thought that Liv Morgan, AJ Styles, and Finn Balor were going to make a big comeback, as Finn Balor made his comeback, did the overhead kick, and Edge was in the drop zone, and once again, Rhea Ripley stood in the way and said, come on then, do something then. Liv Morgan jumped on Rhea Ripley's back, and Rhea Ripley tumbled onto the outside, and because of that distraction, Finn Balor went to go for the coup de grace. Edge rolled out of the way, and then spear from Edge onto Finn Balor. 1, 2, 3. The Judgment Day pick up a victory. A clean victory, I might add. So, technically, with the interference, realistically, would I count that? No, it's just my strategy, more realistically. Had the 5 count to get back out of the ring, and they managed to get out before that 5 count. So, yeah, realistically, pinned him clean. I thought maybe someone was going to turn, but it didn't, and I'm glad they're not yet anyway. So we shall see if Monday Night Raw, that one of AJ or Finn Balor or Liv Morgan turns on the others and joins the Judgment Day. We shall see about that. And, we're going to go on to the next match, as it was, Madcap Moss versus Happy Corbin, no holds barred, very entertaining, and everyone was like, we want tables! We want tables throughout the match. Even Happy Corbin, being the heel he was, got the table, sneakily put it back under, and everyone was booing the hell out of him. And, it ended up with Madcap Moss getting the victory, as he basically, because there was no holds barred, he had Corbin in the middle of the ring, he put the chair around Corbin's neck, used the steel steps, wham! Breaking his neck in between, and pinned him 1, 2, 3 after that. That was the victory. So even Madcap Moss was like, hey, you want tables, but I want to beat him up with the chair. So at the end of the day, I feel like Madcap Moss will get a big push eventually because of the way he's jacked and everything. And Vince McMahon loves these big jacked up dudes. I'd hope for him to get an Intercontinental Championship or United States Championship around his waist in the future. And, speaking of the United States Championship matches, that match was next, as it was a town down. It was Theory, the United States Champion, defending his title against Mustafa Ali, the hometown hero. And in my head, I feel like the 2 things that they could have done just to be a little bit cheeky is either have Mustafa Ali hit the GTS and have Theory kick out at 1, that would get a boom out of the building, or have Theory hit a GTS. I know he has his 8 talent down, which is like a similar finish, but he could have hit a GTS and got that freak out. That would have pissed him off. The fact that Theory won, regardless, pissed off the home Chicago crowd, But the attires were really awesome because we had Theory wearing the red, white, and blue, which is, of course, the colours of America, and he's the United States champion, so that made sense. And also we had Mustafa Ali wearing the red and white, red and black, of the Chicago Bulls. And he had the Chicago state flag in like a shield on his tights, on the left leg of his tights. That was cool. So yeah, the United States champion Theory is still the United States champion after that match. But again, didn't really like it. The same with the Madcap Mouse match. I didn't really enjoy that as much as I wanted to. Even though I enjoyed the fact that Madcap Mouse won, there's possibly now we're going to see an injury from, Happy Corbin now. But, speaking of injuries, while I was watching the kickoff show match, hoping that there'll be watching the kickoff show, it was announced that Cody Rhodes have got a tricep pec injury during the scuffle that they had on Monday Night Raw. A real life injury, folks. That can happen any time. And, well, when the outfits were amazing, as I think Cody Rhodes won the same outfit that he beat Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania Backlash with. And Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins was indeed the next match, Hell in a Cell. Seth Rollins came out first wearing his black jacket, the big thick black jacket, furry jacket. I thought, okay, we saw his tip of his boots, but I thought it was supposed to be a regular Seth Rollins. But no. Let me just tell you, when he has a big rivalry matchup and he has to intimidate his opponent somehow, let's take the match against Rey Mysterio, eye versus an eye. At Extreme Rules horror show a couple of years ago, he wore that purple attire. That was to get inside Rey Mysterio's head. And then he challenged Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. Yeah, the Universal Championship. Guess what? He came down wearing the Shield. His old Shield attire. That was to get in his head. And so today, yesterday, but I watched it today, being Monday, I saw him take his jacket off, and he was dripped out in polka dots. He was wearing a polka dot shirt like Dusty Rhodes used to wear when he was part of WWE, or WWF as it was called back then. I'm not going to believe that. That's what it was called, the World Wrestling Federation, and that must have stung real hard when Cody Rhodes saw him wear those. And so he had this normal Seth Rollins attire, but it was made of polka dots, and the knee pads too. But the boots were also an homage to Dusty Rhodes' WCW days, and he had Dusty's boots on with the yellow and the white. That was clever too. So it's like a tribute to Dusty Rhodes, quote unquote, and it's also getting to Cody Rhodes' head. But that wasn't the biggest oh my god look from the crowd, as like I said, with the torn tricep muscle here, basically, that Cody Rhodes suffered. The reveal of his attire when he took off his jacket, man, it wasn't exactly his attire. It was bruised, man. Like, I'm saying, he was black and blue, like right down here, this side, out to all the way down up to here. Man, it looked horrendous. It must have been painful, but kudos to Cody Rhodes going through the matchup, Hell in a Cell, and there were definitely spots that they didn't get a chance to do. 100%, I can 100% see that they didn't get to do all of their spots, because I saw in the corner of my eye that there was holes in the Hell in a Cell as if they were going to climb it. and because those holes were already made, but before Cody Rhodes' injury, they couldn't. Whether they were going to climb out, go on the outside and climb it, or inside, either way, there's no way that Cody Rhodes would have been able to climb the top of the cell by doing that. He managed to lift up a sledgehammer and even perform the Cody Cutter and the Crossroads and many other, and pull a freaking cowbell that was brought into it, and there was even a leather strap that had polka dots on it and had Visionary written all over it. I'm gonna give that match fucking 10 stars, man. I loved every single bit of it. Cody Rhodes at the end, after being put through a table, buckle bump through a table, not enough to keep Cody Rhodes down. A stop wasn't enough to keep him down. A freaking Crossroads turned into a Crossroads. That was... oh man. And then in the end, Cody Rhodes hit 2 Crossroads to Seth Rollins. And we went to go for a third. Then he stopped, pushed him away. Seth Rollins brought a sledgehammer into the ring at one point. And Cody Rhodes picked up that sledgehammer. And he went wham! Right over the head of Seth Rollins. Knocked him out for 10. And it was 1, 2, 3. Here is your winner for the 3rd time over Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare. He's done it again. Now he's going to be out of action because he's going to have to, have his dry pec muscle surgery or something. I hope you get better soon and make your second comeback. Now, personally, I have a feeling, it's just a gut feeling, that Cody Rhodes was supposed to win Money in the Bank. Think about it. He did that promo introducing the Money in the Bank not too long ago, so I feel like they were going to do that. But now that Cody Rhodes is injured and he's probably going to miss Money in the Bank, what's next for Seth Rollins? We don't know. What's next for Cody Rhodes? I don't know. WWE Championship shot with Bobby Lashley after his match. He grabbed this guy's replica belt and said, "This is going to be mine one day." Not the replica belt, but the real WWE Championship. That was awesome to see. And all improv, by the way. Well done, Bobby, for improvising with that. That was quite clever. And to be honest, I'm embracing this Bobby Lashley, this new Bobby Lashley, and I'm embracing the WWE's top-notch pay-per-views. I refuse to call it what they call it now. It's a pay-per-view, damn it. But premium live event. No. Well, the next premium live event or pay-per-view, goddammit, is gonna be Money in the Bank. So I can't wait to cash in my predictions for that. Never mind. And to review it as well. I'm Danrvdtree2000, also known as Dan2Times15 on Xbox Live. And let me know in the comments below what you thought of Hell in the Cell. Did you think it was good, bad, or just like, meh, ugly perhaps? I'm going to give it 4.5 stars out of the possible 5 and 1 thumbs up, because it could have been better in some cases, like the Madcap Moss match and also the Kevin Owens vs Ezekiel match. And maybe even the Handicapped Match between Almost MVP and Bobby Lashley. But regardless of what I think, I'm going to look forward to the build up to Money in the Bank. Who's going to enter Money in the Bank? We'll have to find out. And until that Money in the Bank predictions and the review for that too, it's a goodbye from me. Nope. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you want to watch the previous video, click on the video on the left. But if you want to watch the playlist, then click on the video on the right. Also, feel free to click subscribe by clicking on the Master Chief icon on the top.